I'd like to talk to you about what marketeers call competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is essentially the answers to two very important questions. The first question is, what makes you or your business different? So that's the first essential thing about competitive advantage. Have you got something that makes you different from everybody else out there? And the second one is also crucial. The second question is this: does anybody care? Because if they don't care about your differences, they're not going to pay for them, or they're not going to pay the price that you want. So there is one situation in which those two questions really don't matter, but most businesses aren't in that situation. And that situation is you have a monopoly. So your product or your service is so desirable and so unique that nobody else has it in the marketplace. And that's a great position to be in because you can essentially charge what you like for that product or service. But most small businesses are not in the business of having a monopoly situation on their market share. So for most small businesses who are not in a monopoly, we have to think about competitive advantage quite seriously. But I'm just going to share a short story with you about why it's important, and not to get too frustrated if we haven't got that huge market share of what we do. Imagine there are two friends out in the African bush. They're on holiday, they're trekking and enjoying the sunshine, looking at the wildlife, having a great time. And then a lion is spotted, and they're quite serious. They're quite concerned about this lion and wondering what on earth they're going to do about it. And the two guys are very different in nature. One of them, very calmly, takes off his rucksack and takes out from his rucksack his plimsolls and starts unlacing his big hiking boots and changing his shoes. The other one's in a complete panic, running around and thinking, what do we do? What do we do? We can't get away. This line's getting closer. But the first one is absolutely right, because the first one, being calm, is saying, that's okay, there's a lion coming. I'm going to run, but all I have to do to beat you is be faster than you. So in that story, we're thinking about your business as being like the first bloke, the one who's thinking about what he can do to get away from the lion. He's not saying I have to be the fastest runner in the world, but he is saying I just have to be better than the other businesses that I'm working with. So this is where marketing gets interesting when we're talking about competitive advantage. And we're talking about the strategy now. That marketing gets interesting when it's about strategy. It's not about creating a new website or having some leaflets or having a new business card or a new logo. Marketing is strategic. And don't just take my word for it. If you talk to business angels or investors, one of the crucial things that they're looking for in a business when deciding whether or not to invest and become a partner with you as you grow is, first of all, is your product or service any good, and has it got a competitive advantage? But secondly, how long is that competitive advantage going to last? So how many years or months or days have we got to stay ahead of the other businesses out there? And those are one of the key things that they look for when they're deciding whether or not to invest in you and your product and service.